39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30.
29.
28. 27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10.
9. 8.
7. 6. 5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Hi, and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And yes, this is episode 196. And the way it looks is we're going to have our 200th episode in January because actually the Tuesdays fall on Christmas and New Year's. So we're going to be skipping that. I'll probably have a repeat or something. Then we got a couple shows in December. And I'm going to probably have a repeat next week or a couple weeks. I'm going to be out of town. So anyway, all that's housekeeping stuff, but we have an action-packed show for you tonight. Actually, I've got, before we get to Micah, I have Ken Colbert coming on. He does the K. Colbert Report. He's down in the Evansville area, and he's fighting the good fight. And you know how much these podcasts have become popular because of Trump calling the fake news and them proving it. So we have that going on, and I'm going to bring him on for just a couple minutes. He's going to tell you about his show that he does and all the interesting things he's talking about. And then we'll get to Micah and the panel. And man, this will be fun because this is his first appearance on the show as a lieutenant governor elect. And we got some fun stuff for you here. I got a text from Jennifer McCormick the other day that just made me chuckle a little bit. And I'm sure it'll make Micah laugh a little bit too when we do that. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's see. Is that everything? I want to tell you about next week's show. Well, you know how we've had the mayor and their sexual harassment scandal, and now we got it going through the House with the Democrat, minority leader and all that. We got that. So I thought, well, I'll give Curtis Hill a call and see if he wants to come on the show next week and talk about it, because it doesn't seem to slow the Democrats down much when they have a sexual harassment case. So I thought it'd be a good time to have him come on. So we're going to have Curtis Hill on next week, and we're going to talk about that. And I got a note out to Dana Black. Love to have her on. Last time Curtis and Dana were on, it's probably been about 100 shows ago, but it was an entertaining evening. So we have that next week. So you'll want to tune in for that. So I think that's it. That's all we're going to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Ken right now. Let's see what we have here. Hey, Ken, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, living the dream down here in Southwest Indiana.
Yeah, you're on slow time, so you still got sunlight, everything. You're probably out there basking in the sun, as we speak.
It's dark here, but yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to save that thing. What I think Lucy has that about daylight savings. It's where you cut the bottom off of the blanket and sew it back to the top and tell everybody you got a better blanket. So that's what we have here. So, hey, Cam, we're going to have you on for just a couple minutes here. I want you to tell the folks a little bit about your show, because we like to cross-pollinate other shows that are out there doing their thing.
Sure. Our platform is actually on Rumble. We find that on YouTube, they censor us too much because we have to say, okay? But it's Colbert Report, Colbert Report. And that's on Rumble. We're on Telegram under the same name. On X, it's K Colbert Report, because Stephen Colbert has the Colbert Report already sewn up. So I had to put K Colbert Report. But down here in Evansville, we're concentrating on all of the political aspect that's happening down here, not only in Vanderburgh, but Posey, Warwick, etc. Right now, we're getting ready to do an expose on the Warwick County Commissioners. We have a special guest coming on in regards to that. But we've been concentrating right now on our platform. There are several videos, approximately 50 of them on different subject matters. But we've done several in regards to the TPS, temporary protected status. This is where Yes. Here in Vanderburgh County, we have 6,000 TPS. They're from Haiti. They're the Haitians. And we have been concentrating and exposing all the NGOs and the politicians involved with these individuals coming in. In fact, even outing some of the individuals that own the real estate. They thought they could hide under these LLCs, but has not been the case. We've done a program in regards to Daviess County, Washington, Indiana. They have approximately 2,000 Haitians that are there in the community of 12,000 people. We did an expose on there. We've had thousands of followers in regards to that particular Rumble video that we had done. We only deal in facts, not opinions. We pull the documents. We show who the developers are. So as an example, there in Washington, Indiana, there's a man from Gibson County, Hopstock, that set up an LLC and determined that he was going to build housing for these TPS. So you're going to find out, if you listen to the video, the name of that individual. We also call out Mark Mesmer for being one of the original sponsors of allowing the TPS to get their driver's license. And we show exactly the House bill, Senate bill involved with that. So we just truth bomb is what we're doing down here.
Well, hey, hold on a second, Ken. I thought the Clinton Foundation fixed Haiti. What happened to the Clinton Foundation?
Kidding me. No, that's called money laundering, and all that's now being exposed.
I know. I don't want to give away too much of the show. So we're going to have you on in December probably. I'm gonna carve out a spot for you. We're going to come on and have you on the show and talk about all this stuff. And I think some more. As this next administration comes in, there's going to be some more things to talk about. I don't think we're going to have a shortage of things to talk about on this. So I do appreciate you coming on. And now we're going to go with Micah. I think I see Micah back there. And hey, Ken, thanks a lot. Hey, everybody check out Ken. He's on Twitter at K Colbert Report, at K Colbert Report is where you can find him on Twitter. And we are now following each other on Twitter, so watch out. And I did get my little blue check mark today. So
nice.
We are actually live streaming on Twitter again. I'm just too cheap to pay that. Actually, I got so many discounts, they almost paid me to come on. So it's all good. It's all good. So hey, Ken, thanks a lot for coming on and enjoy your daylight savings time.
Will do.
All right. Hey, Micah, are you there? Are you there, Micah?
I am. How's it going?
It's just going like Swiss cheese, a little holy, but it's not even Sunday. I don't know. I just made that up.
That's good. That's good.
It's like, well, it's better than a finest frog hair split three ways. That's usually my comment. Is it's pretty fine. But so you've been busy. You've been busy, haven't you?
It's been good. Yeah, been busy. We got our transition team rolling, and so that's been a lot of fun. And we're trying to make sure there's a smooth transition, and trying to make sure our agendas are in lockstep, and helping to just kind of put the message out and kind of what the broad administration wants to focus on, and then also kind of the things that I ran on pre-convention and what I want to do. And so I think it's coming together really well.
Yep. So I just want to, I'm going to take time to pick on you a little bit here, because you've been, I think it's like just your sixth time to be on the show, but first time as Lieutenant Governor elect. We got some fun stuff here. I got a tweet from Jennifer here that you're going to really get a kick out of. I'm not going to play it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and bring on the panel here, and then I'll save that thing for a minute later. I'd have it downloaded. That was me stalling I didn't have it downloaded. And since we don't have small talk anymore, I mean, really, he's missing an opportunity here to give you a hard time. I just, that's what I think.
Come on, Mark. I mean, tell you.
Let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Brad. He hadn't been on in a minute. Hey, Brad, how's it going? Are you paying attention?
It's going great.
So
nothing matters anymore. Everything's not what it seems. Just feel like I'm in the friggin' Twilight Zone.
It's frozen over. Is that?
It's awesome. It's awesome, Brad. Come on in.
You don't know what's going to happen next, Micah.
Who does? It's all. Don't you like the fear of the unknown? I do. Well, I love it.
But it's just funny how so the Democrats have a scandal now with sexual harassment, and all of the indie talk radio hosts are jumping on board with that, but then also at the same time ignoring Matt Gaetz. and his ethics report thing.
Now
that's
for
going
Florida. That's for Florida.
Well, no, you see, like
I'm just saying,
like,
he'll get his chance.
Everything's on the table.
He'll get his chance.
You know,
but
that's it's so weird to even talk about. Like,
hey, Brad, we're gonna sweep that under the mat. Did you see what I did there? You see what no, you didn't see what I did there. That's okay. All I want to know is how you're doing, Brad. I can see you're in despair.
No, I'm pretty good though. I went to a concert. Okay. Yeah.
Now, when did you officially start as chief librarian so you can start separating that porn and stuff? Because we got Micah right here. He'll help you out with some stuff.
Oh no, it's already out. That's
Good job.
I'm a little ornery tonight. I'm sorry. I'm in a little bit of an ornery mood. I'm sorry.
John, I want you to know something. We did a rally for conservative school board candidates down in Columbus, Indiana, about 2 weeks before the election. Guess who was there supporting these amazing conservative school board candidates with me and Todd Rokita? Guess who else was there? It was your very own Brad Sawinski.
Well, hey, you get on Mouthwash. It's like we should be calling this brainwash instead of Mouthwash. I mean, we're like changing minds right now. It's like bending them.
Everyone had theme music.
I think he like stood up and applauded Todd Rokita multiple times. So,
God, like it was horrific. Okay,
you mean awesome?
We can't.
Yep.
I don't want Lucy to miss any more of this.
I mean. That's a mandate now.
We have Lucy backstage. I don't want to have her miss any more of this fun that we're having, and then Tiffany's en route, so we'll bring her on when she gets back to the house because she's probably out saving fishers or whatever she does in the evenings on Tuesdays. So Lucy, how are you doing? Are you going to give me this gloom and doom thing, or are you going to tell me how you're doing?
No, actually, I am really excited. I was telling Micah backstage how excited I am about Thomas Massey and Joel Salatin and some really amazing people. And I absolutely love the liberals, the leftists losing their minds over RFK heading up Health and Human Services. Like, how can you get mad at a guy that wants to take artificial flavors and colors out of your kid's breakfast cereal? But they are up in arms about this. It's crazy.
Well,
I don't think anyone can say it's an overreaction until they storm the Capitol. Okay, right? Like, isn't that the bar now? Like, as long as they don't do that.
But I would like to point out that I expected the Democrats, having lost, to fire up the BLM machine, but instead Biden fired up the missile machine. And we are in real danger of World War III. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
I was just thinking about
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
We got it's just buckle up. I think we're going to have something every day that's going to be going on. I mean, look, at least he's waiting for it to all fall apart so I can say I told you so.
Hey, do you think, I don't want to derail this conversation before it gets going, but Joe and Jill Biden looked pretty happy when Trump came to the White House last week. Do you think that they felt a sense of vindication because of the coup that happened within the Democrats? Like, do you think there was a part of them, Brad, that they were grateful Trump won?
No, I think they were laughing at what he's going to inherit. Like, did you hear all the questions that were thrown at them that they didn't answer at the press conference? Like right afterwards, it was hilarious. Like, yeah, it's just, hey, we're all here. Let's see what happens. Let's do this.
Yeah. Oh wait, Lisa says Jill wore red to vote.
That's right.
Bro.
That's right. I think that was a sign. That was not an accident. No. Brad.
By the way, a cheap for my wife. She sewed this jacket for me to get, so she would notice something about someone wearing red at their thing. So yeah, it's pretty nice. What do you think? It's like I'm like Indy 500 Johnny here. So
I was gonna say I like the collar. That's good.
Yeah, I had one in college that had leopard skin on the inside. I thought, well, let's do this checker flag this time. That's how we do it. So okay, that was a couple weeks ago. What are we doing now? What do we got now? So you know what? I can't wait anymore. I've got to put this up. I got to put this up. This is the tweet that I saw from Jennifer McCormick, and you and your friend Diego got the brunt of this. So here we go. We're going to put it up here. It's from Jennifer McCormick, a firecracker. Whenever they put a firecracker over there, that means it's important. They put a must. Indiana's legislative priorities. Senate Bill 1, eliminate the powers and responsibilities of the lieutenant governor. Oh, but that's not good enough. Let's do HB 1002, limit the powers and responsibilities of them. Oh, but don't feel left out. They're going after Diego too. Eliminate his powers and all that. So, wow, does that sound like somebody who's taking their loss graciously? I don't know. Brad, what do you think? That's the person you voted for, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It sounds like the last gasp of the establishment to me. I think they're genuinely concerned. I know I give you a hard time, Micah, because of the religious thing, but I really feel like you're trying to do the right thing, and clearly they are terrified.
Well, I just want to take this moment to point out that, we had Becky Cash on our show and they used it against her to, their political opponent used it against her, but she still won. Mike has been on here, maybe the most we've had anybody on, and it didn't deter him. And we were talking off air. And Lucy, your candidate got 13% last year and got 4 this year. So that's about what Braun won by. So, hey, I'm just saying, that's an opinion. That's my opinion. But I think that Mike
you're forgetting Tiffany. Tiffany won her race and she's on.
Oh, yeah, she's won on it. I'm the only one that can't win.
John, that tweet that Jennifer had, though.
Oh, this one?
This
one right here?
Put that back up. Does it include eliminating funding from state universities that
they have a newspaper
that is critical of somebody?
Wait, Micah, did you mention that about the IU thing? Hey, did I mention their football team's 10-0? I mean, they've won all the games.
Because
most exciting time.
Home runs everywhere.
Because taxpayer dollars should not be used to indoctrinate our children.
There you go. It needs to be equal time.
That's a good should, but I mean the entire Prussian educational system is that. Did you ever read Educating for a New World Order by B.J. Eatman and Weapons of Mass Instruction by Godin?
Yeah, where does that end, Mike? That's what I mean.
I think so. Let me give you some background on that. So there is a professor in the media department. He's the only conservative professor there, and he doesn't feel like he can actually speak his values, and he's safe to do so. And I've gotten multiple messages from students over the last few months that have said, hey, I go to IU. I'm a conservative. I've been bullied in my class by my professors. I've been told to keep my mouth shut on my conservative viewpoints. And so this is happening. This is really happening at IU. I don't care that the newspaper has left-leaning articles. What I care about is that that's the only thing that's allowed in that newspaper. And if you read that newspaper, that is the only thing that's allowed. They do not write from a right-wing perspective ever. It is all left, always left, and it's not. And I don't think our taxpayer dollars should be funding something that's so biased one side or the other. I'd say the same thing if it was on the conservative side too. I'd say no, it needs to be a good balanced perspective. And so teach our kids how to critically think. Don't teach them what to think. Teach them how to think. And that's IU's not doing that right now.
But so then, okay, for example, then would the student demonstrations and stuff during Vietnam, would that infringe upon that?
I don't think that was political. That wasn't one political side or another. That was basically.
But it's of whatever the administration is doing. It doesn't matter what the viewpoint is.
No. I think this goes deeper than that. I think this is a symptom of a greater problem, and the problem is that for years at IU there has been this oppressive, hostile reaction towards conservative thinking. And
where's that conservative press then?
It's out in Berkeley. Oh no, Berkeley's the first one.
Where's the conservative press at IU? They don't have it. It's not allowed to be there.
Well, anywhere.
Hey, let's do a clarification real quick, Micah. So is this supposed to be? Are they
an open market?
Well, it's tax dollars, so this is not a private institution. I'm all if it's a private institution, they can do whatever they want to do. I don't care at that point.
They don't actually get funding from.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
yeah, they do.
So everybody did their fancy definitions of their way out of.
They got $1 million from the school a couple of years ago to pay off their debt, and then their newsroom is in the media department, which is all funded by taxpayer dollars. So they are using taxpayer dollars big time to keep themselves afloat. And so again, if this was a private, entity not taking taxpayer dollars, they can do whatever they want, and I will support them and defend their right to do so.
So are they?
How did you not like that cover though?
Are they treated as a non-profit?
That was good. And by the way, hey, Brad, By the way, as a journalist, when do op-eds get front page cover status, right? Like, think about it. That was an they said it was an op-ed. It was an editorial. It was somebody's, it was just an editorial opinion. When did those go on the front page? I've never seen too many editorials that end up on the front page of a paper, but there it was.
I'd have to look into that. But like, it was just showing that regardless of what anybody says, Trump wins. Trump always wins.
That wasn't
it. That wasn't it. That had a big picture of his head with all this stuff on it.
It said moron. It had a picture of his head and a big word across his forehead. It said moron.
That's one way to take it. That's an artistic interpretation.
All right. Hey, Micah, hey, Brad, be quiet. I want to ask this question. I've been trying to ask it for 3 minutes. So now, are they treated like a nonprofit where you have to be unbiased and give everybody equal opportunity, or is this just simply funding by the state and it's got to be fair and balanced? What does this fall under? Is it more of a nonprofit thing? Like at my art center, I have to let every politician speak or none. Is that sort of what this is? Or
I think it should have an element of fairness. If my tax dollars are going to fund IU, then just be fair. And again, I'm not even saying we need to have the ruler out and say 50% to 50%. It's just let conservatives share their viewpoint. And there's a problem. If you look at the Indiana Daily Student, they are not in any way, shape, or form even close to espousing any conservative viewpoints, hardly ever. I mean, like, you cannot find them in their writings. And so it's just, I'm not even asking for 50-50. Just give us, 70-30.
I'm going to go ahead and bring Tiffany on. She's quit eating now. I saw her eat. Oh, no, maybe she didn't quit eating. So. Sorry about that, Tiffany. I got you that time. Let's get it all. It's all right where they're supposed to be here. So let's see. That's left. Nope, you're not right. There you go. There. That's it, isn't it? Right, left, center, and all that stuff. So, let's do this.
Lucy's in the center? No, that's not right. I can't be right.
No, it's the background you can have in there when you don't. Okay. She used to have plastic up like they were going to do a mafia hit on her, but she's upgraded.
I have a she shed, and it lacks drywall, so it's just strips of insulation, some plastic.
Yeah, it's a dungeon. That's okay. Just go ahead and say it.
So it's my bunker.
So Tiffany, welcome. Oh, you got an extra guest there. That's not even fair.
It's my baby dog. Look, it's baby dog.
Now you went to North Carolina, right, Tiffany?
University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, best 5 years of my life.
Yep, you got Tar Heels. That's what, I don't know what that means, but you got that. So
5 years. 5 years.
The
victory lap.
The third year was a blur, so there we go.
That's a fun year.
Crammed 4 years of college into 5. Like me, so, I did the same thing.
So Tiffany, did they have a conservative newspaper at your? Do you remember your newspaper? What it was like? I mean,
Daily Tar Heel. It was just mainly campus stuff.
Yeah, that's what
I do remember. When Clinton was running for office, he did come to visit us. But I mean, he went on the Arsenio Hall show. He played his saxophone. He wore briefs or boxers, not briefs. I mean, remember all that shit we were learning? Oh, sorry, stuff we were learning about Bill Clinton. Not
got
German.
The pastor right there.
Sorry, Pastor.
That's all right.
That's 4 Hail Marys.
You're definitely going to hell now. You cussed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he played his saxophone. Right?
And so did Monica, right?
You think about it. You think about we. Oh no, this is
that was funny.
That was good. That's well funny. Brad. To get us banned on the YouTube, I'm sure. But you think about it. Every president
I didn't hear any of that.
Generally has. Yeah, really, you can't hear nothing. Brad, can you hear what's going on?
Did somebody just clap? Wait, I heard that. Yes. Okay. No, I'm good. Sorry.
No wonder you couldn't hear my question. You couldn't hear me. It seems like every election, Trump at the McDonald's. That did it, the thing, and I don't know,
that was what did it for you guys?
Oh, I think so. I think when Trump went, that was the ultimate troll.
That he thought people put it in with their hands.
Well, the funniest, and then the other funny thing was he tells the garbage guy, "Yeah, I just got done with a hard shift over there at McDonald's. Now I'm out here driving." I'm like, really?
But at least he showed Brad that some jobs that people think are black jobs are not black jobs; they're just jobs.
Wait. What are you holding right now?
Don't ask.
I'm having
he's cutting through red tape.
I'm having wine and cheese, some Dauphinois on some fresh bread.
This is a relaxed show.
A little bit of Pinot Noir.
If we ever do go much more
It's
professional,
not
that's
Nouveau
to tighten up.
Beaujolais season.
Yeah, that's
Is it Nouveau Beaujolais season? It's not, is it?
She's a Pinot Noir. It's Naomi. You know, I'm just being very suburban right now. Very demure.
Okay, Fishers. I escaped from there. I know what it's like.
It was catch and release up there for sure. So who's got a question for Mike? I mean, Mike, you got all these things going on. Your powers are getting ready to be limited according to Twitter, and so are you just going to sit around and eat bonbons? Hey, you could go over to Tiffany's and have wine and cheese during your time.
Yeah, or water. I mean, if you turn it into wine, you turn it into wine. So, are you surprised, Micah, that they would? So, who's introducing this bill?
Oh, no, that was Jennifer McCormick.
Hold on, I'll put it up again for you.
Yeah, you didn't see it. This is Jennifer McCormick's tweet.
This was her Xer or whatever you call it now, X-rated Twitter. Wants to basically take out the Secretary of State and the Lieutenant Governor. No powers for him. So,
what's her current job?
That'd be. Hey, Brad, what's her job? She's your girl. What's her job right now?
Does she work at the library?
I don't know, but Rhonda Miller posted that. I think that's actually how I saw that. And she still says it's Purple for Parents Indiana, but she's not in Indiana anymore.
Wait.
You know,
we can't lie
on
the
internet. I'm curious, Brad, the lady you voted for to run our state, what does she do for a living?
I have no idea.
She runs for governor.
You voted for someone to run our state and you don't know what she does for a living?
No, I knew she was I don't know what she's currently doing. I know what she's done. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's a little bit of a problem. I mean, does anybody know what she's done for the last 4 years since she's been not superintendent?
I mean, that's like saying, what does a consultant do? Like, you can say,
in the words of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
who's a consultant with a firm?
I'm just a little surprised
in the state of Indiana.
What does she consult on? Just everything?
Things. They sit around.
Affairs consulting.
Affairs.
I wouldn't. Hey, Brad, I wouldn't use the word affairs with the Democrat Party right now. They're having a little bit of trouble.
I went to her website and it says that she is our last elected Indiana State Superintendent of Public Instruction.
But what does she do for a living? How does she make her money?
She instructs affairs.
She's like kind of just
consulting.
Maybe she's a political influencer.
I think when you run for office, like you put a lot into that, and then you have to
what I see here is just
it doesn't pay unless you win.
The hypocrisy here.
I don't know. I've never really thought of that. Then, yeah.
But Brad, you voted for somebody you don't even know what she does. I mean, that's like, to me, it's like, come on, like, I'm a pastor. You knew that, and I'm shocked you didn't vote for me.
It's like saying she's a teacher. Yeah, like I know she's an educator.
She was a teacher. It's not. Now
that's what I mean. Like I know her as a teacher.
Okay.
Like, I know that she's also she's teaching at the moment. So how am I gonna say that? I'm a stickler for words, Micah. Like I don't want to
because words make up books.
Because I don't know what
words make books.
Words you voted for her.
Okay, I got something.
Hey, Micah, it's blue no matter who. Micah, blue no matter who.
I voted for her, so I knew what her job would be.
He had to vote for her before he could find out what her job would be.
Okay. This is why China's winning, Brad. Okay, this is why China's winning. So
that's it. That's the main reason.
I would listen, Giselle. Indiana State Superintendent of Public Instruction, whatever, you know what that means? That means she's literally in charge of the school to prison pipeline because Indiana has private prisons.
And that's it.
Brad?
Yeah. Hello.
So who said that China's ahead of us? So tonight at our GOP meeting, we had the HSC Superintendent Pat Mapes and Representative Baining, and we were talking about the new Indiana high school diploma, and they had really good data and stats on all the other states that are ahead of us and where our kids are in chronic absenteeism and what this new diploma will mean for our kids and students. Think it's worth a conversation, especially if you have an 8th grader right now. Their life is going to be different when they graduate. They will have a whole different educational experience.
Wow. Okay.
Cool. And we'll catch up with China and Singapore and Estonia.
Yeah. Wow, that Estonia.
Love it.
They're nipping at the Tar Heels. So, Micah, what is your first thing you're going to do in your office? So you're going to like kick your feet up on the desk and say, this is good. I made it. And then what are you going to do?
Lieutenant Governor's office. Is it big or is it small? Where's it located?
No, it's a good size office. It's up on the third floor. Next, it basically kind of connects to the Senate chambers pretty quickly, because since you preside over the Senate, you got to get back and forth between your office. So no, but I think the first thing I'm going to do, John, is I'm going to invite the Mouthwash crew to do a live show from the Lieutenant Governor's office. How about that? Huh?
Oh my gosh, I knew it would pay off.
We're going to roll out the red carpet for Brad more than anybody else.
That's going to be so much fun. Are you going to have pins like Diego? When you go to Diego's office, it's like going to Disney. Are you going to have pins for everybody?
Yeah, sure. Like pins, like just buttons like that you can put on your
like
bell pins.
Oh yeah.
There's
we'll do things that are not going to waste taxpayer dollars, but will be fun and memorable. So
yay.
All right. So what was the first thing? I missed it.
Well, no. So
after you have this on.
No. So the first thing we're doing is basically we're coming in. I think we're going to we're going to roll back some of our spending in the office. So I think we could easily, I think every office and agency could easily get between 3 to 5% cuts going. And I think just from our perspective, we want to do that in the LG's office just to make sure we can lead by example. Again, it's going to be a drop in the bucket, but it's going to be a kind of a step to say, hey, we're streamlining, we're cutting the fat. We can do things just as well, if not better, with less. And so we've asked all of Indiana to tighten their belts over the last 4 years due to Bidenomics. The government should have to do that too. And then that will also, I think, pad the messaging for property taxes, because that's really going to be the biggest push, I think, for the legislature and for the Braun administration, is going to deal with property taxes that are killing Hoosiers all over the place. I mean, we hear it all the time. Property taxes are through the roof. I just talked to somebody tonight that said they had to write a $2,000 check for their property taxes. And that's insane. That's absolutely, literally insane that they're losing that much money in one foul swoop.
That's just a half.
and that's crazy. So, and I've talked to other people, their property taxes have gone up 25, 30% from last year to this year. I mean,
I went up 2,000% since 2020.
How much?
2,000. Well, I need to be punished because I added on to my house.
The assessor hates you, John. The assessor hates you. So, Micah, at our city council meeting last night, we had some folks come in from the very east side of Fishers that's getting annexed. Remember in the newspaper when it said that Fishers was annexing Fortville? So that's people that live way out there on the east side. And they were, they don't want to be annexed because of their property taxes. And they talked about that. And it was really, really good. And I can pull the link to the meeting for you. But as we're looking at drafting legislation that is going to help Hoosiers with their property taxes, if there's an opportunity for some type of special provisions for people with property taxes who are being annexed into cities where their property taxes are going to go up more because of their address and things of that nature, whatever we can do for folks that are being annexed is, I just think it'd be really helpful. They were like, our property taxes are going to go up $1,200 a year. And these are people who live on fixed incomes. They live in what was very rural areas before Fishers started growing around them. And it was just very, very heartfelt. A lady came up to me before the meeting and she was very angry. And she's like, is this where we are? Is this where we talk about the annexation? Is this where we're supposed to be? And I said, yes. And she had her little paper and her notes. And when it came time to remonstrate, a couple of other people did. And I looked over at her in the audience and she just kind of shook her head no. And she was scared. And I was like, no, you come forward and you say what you need to say. And she was just very, very thankful that she did it. But there are voices that need to be heard about property taxes. And we probably hear it more at the city level than you guys ever will down at the State House. But we just have to be really, really mindful of what it means to our everyday Hoosiers. And I can get you a link to the video. It was very, very heartfelt about what annexation and the increase in property taxes means to those Hoosiers.
Yeah, they usually get run over. One of the things I heard, Micah, that I really liked was we're going to cut spending. You always hear this cut the tax, cut the tax, cut the tax. And I don't hear anything about cutting spending to be able to support some of this stuff, because I know one of the big questions is school funding. We're not going to, that's where they get their funding from, these referendums. There's a lot of stuff that we're working on. And I heard the latest pushback from some legislator people that I know about, oh, this is going to take 2 years to do, or 2 sessions. I'm like, oh, please. So are you ready to push a little bit, Micah? Are you ready to give them a little what for?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that's going to be probably one of my big passions this year. And if it doesn't get done this year, then we're going to raise all holy hell. And I think for good reason, because people are dying on the vine here. They cannot afford to stay in their houses. And constitutionally, I mean, property taxes just are unconstitutional. Let's just be honest. Like, it's not really your property if you have to pay the government rent to stay there. So I don't like it in the first place. And so I want to see big time cutbacks, and I want to see it move back into a very limited, as limited as possible as we can make it, without, maybe going the goal line should be get rid of it ultimately. But so we better have some big reforms. And if they're just going to do small little minor adjustments to it, that's not going to fly with me or the people. And again, I know that local units of government, their city officials, they're going to scream about it. They're going to say, where are we going to, get our funding? We can figure this out. There's ways to fund local units of government just fine. And by the way, our schools get a ton of funding. Over 50% of our budget, our $44 billion budget, 50%, $22 billion goes to education. And that's not even including referendums. That's another $7 billion worth of referendum. So, I mean, you're talking $30 billion over 2 years. And that's not enough to have, adequate education. We need to keep upping our tax.
We could just pay our kids to be smart. We'll just give them some dollars. Just, hey, you get smart and we'll give you some money.
But I think you're right, Mike. I think that sometimes when things are underfunded, they kind of figure it out. I think that education is important. Public education is important. I went to public schools, but you start pulling back some of that funding, people will figure it out. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to pull back some money. They'll
be resourceful. People can be resourceful. It's amazing what we can do when we have to be resourceful. And I've had to. I think that's absolutely right, Tiffany. I agree with that.
That's where chicken soup came from. Somebody was like, I got soup and I got water and I've got peas and carrots.
There we go.
Sandwich. So this is a very important question, Micah. How big a gavel are you going to have? I mean, I've seen who had the big giant mallet at the U.S. Congress? You need to go in there with like a sledgehammer the first day, just crack it down. Bang, I'm here.
That's a really good question. I don't know. I have not seen the gavel, although I was down there for Organization Day today. And so Suzanne Crouch, current Lieutenant Governor, she was up presiding over the Senate. And I thought it was hilarious. Whenever they would read a motion, the clerk would start to read. And the clerk would get 2 words out. And in the middle of just reading, Suzanne would gavel him down and he'd stop reading. And I was like, that poor guy. He couldn't get anything. And I asked Suzanne about it later. And she said, well, from a rules perspective, all we have to do is let them read some of it. And so it was
they do that in the house too. It's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. And to me, I guess, I wasn't ready for that. I was like, at first I was like, what is that guy even saying? I mean, you couldn't even understand the first 2 words he was saying. And so it was kind of funny, but that gavel.
So how long are you going to let him go? Are you going to let him go to 4 words or 5 words?
Maybe 5, maybe 6. I don't know.
Give him a little bit of time. It's going to be like Lucy kicking the football.
I mean, come on. Nobody ever limits a pastor. I mean, come on. Now you got to
get. But it's the clerk reading it. It's not.
I know, but in the spirit of communication, it'd be like that's like somebody saying, "Pastor, you got 5 words."
They read it so fast you can't understand them anyway. So what the thing is it's just a weird thing. It's sort of code for we already know what we're going to do, so go ahead and vote. Is that sort of how
that's
that
basically
works?
it? Yeah,
we already know what's in the bill or not. I just let it go. And
now, granted, this was just org day, so it was all just kind of
So did they say how many bills that they're going to allow each senator? Or
I think this. I think 10, or that might be the House.
The House is 10. That's it.
Okay, it might be a few less. I can't remember, but 10.
I think you need to figure that out before you get in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think no. You know what? It is 10. It's 10. I was talking to a senator because he was at 8,
and
he was
every
asking me.
It's
Yeah,
what
he
they
was asking me if there's 2 more, like if I have some ideas for some bills, like to throw him his way because he's got about 2 more slots that he can fill.
Fund the mouthwash. You see, we're equally balanced. We're not just one sided. We have Brad, we got Lucy, we got Tiffany.
No.
We deserve funding. No. Okay.
No.
Never mind then. I didn't ask that. But did I just screw up our visit to the Capitol now? Just
no, you can still visit.
Okay.
You're not getting taxpayer dollars. I mean,
okay.
So,
okay. Man, he's a tough one. Brad, come on, work on him. You know,
so Micah, what kind of challenges do you foresee? What are you nervous about? Tell us, friends.
No, I'm not nervous about really anything. I think the thing that the challenge will be to get my team up to speed. I think that's probably anytime you step into a new role like this, it's learning the system really, really well, so you don't get gamed by the system or by people in the system. And so that's probably going to be the biggest challenge. And we're kind of going in with everyone's been very nice, very kind, and everyone's been welcoming. But we're kind of under the old Reagan philosophy of trust but verify, right? So we're not.
How does that work too? Like, do you have a staff that you bring in too, and then there's some in there like already hired by some other firm or agency, I guess?
So so basically it's sort of up to my discretion as far as the staff that I want to bring into my office. And now it would be pretty unwise to just come in and like clean house with all new staff. I mean, we're going to make sure that if there's good people already in the roles, if there's people that, are doing a good job, like there's no reason to, pull them out and put somebody else in that doesn't know the job. But we're basically saying, hey, listen, if you want the job, you're going to have to reapply for it, and we're going to interview you. We're going to go through the process, and then we got agencies and we got agency heads, and so we've got to make recommendations about who would be good heads of agency like Okra or agriculture, and then you've got their staff over there too. So, and again, that's a lot of the directors will do that, but you have a lot of input on staffing and what goes on in those agencies. So it's just kind of getting my head wrapped around kind of all those different functions of the jobs. And so,
yeah. So do you have a director of seeds and propagation? I mean, I know Lucy might want to do that. She's like,
I'm pining for a political appointment where I can plant all kinds of seeds all over Indiana.
Well, your office will look like a hydroponic grow factory. It'll be done with that. So how many people do you actually need or have, or what's the pattern? Are you going to have less or more than in the past? Well, idea what that looks like.
Well, I will say this: as far as the current LG's office, Suzanne's done a good job of keeping it pretty dialed in. I mean, the budget allows for more staff than she has right now. I think she only has about 13 or 14 staff in her office. The budget probably could go upwards to close to 20 or 25 staffers in her office. She doesn't use them all, so we're going to follow that same suit. Like, we're going to probably just keep it trim and slim. And then we're going to look at the agencies are probably where we can really, the 2 agencies that I'm going to have my focus on are Okra and agriculture. And those will be the ones that you could really kind of, dial back.
What's Okra? What's that one?
That's Office of Community and Rural Affairs. It's actually working with small rural communities to help business development. So it's kind of like maybe IEDC, but for small rural communities.
Yay, goats and broadband.
Yep. So are you going to have like a communications person, somebody come out and talk to you? And...
Jesus.
Hey, I think it's only Brad. I think it's only right to throw Elon Musk a bone after he did such a great job.
No, it is not right. That is like
Starlink.
Oh, you mean Skynet? Does anyone see what's going on with Elon Musk?
Seriously,
he's a liar. Every time he comes and buys out a company or works in a company, he claims to be the founder. So that's the first thing. The next thing is he dressed as the devil's champion. I mean, he told us exactly who he was on Halloween. He, as soon as Trump was elected, he posted Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order. Everything that he telegraphs tells us who he really is. Now he's putting chips in people's brains. And, not that I'm against the technology that can help people live a better life, But the second person that has Neuralink, I don't know if you guys have been following this, is a disabled man. I think I don't know if he's quadriplegic or paraplegic, but definitely unable to play video games. And he was controlling Call of Duty with his mind, which is cool about Neuralink and all. But what does that tell you is going to happen in the future? I mean, it's going to
They're
be the
gonna
whole
put it in
Johnny
hair
Mnemonic
plugs.
movie.
They're going to put it in hair plugs.
Well, yeah, he got hair plugs and jaw implants.
I'm
I mean,
getting
it's
close
pretty.
to needing that. So
I just think being able to talk to people on the phone is cool, and that's all. That's all I was going for there. I don't know where that that all
really,
came from.
you
So-
went,
It
well,
is, but there's already like infrastructure set up. I don't think government money
The
has
kids in
spent
rural
on
areas need
making
broadband.
them even richer.
I think broadband. I think internet should be a utility. We need to take it over at the state level.
oh boy, here we go. The big brother's coming to get us.
Why
So
not?
Micah, are you going to have like a spokesperson for you, or are you going to do your own speaking for yourself?
Yes.
like
No, we'll have a
you have
comms
press
team.
conference with somebody or whatever that'll be out there. Like,
Do you
gotta
still
get-
have tourism? What's the plan for tourism?
So tourism and housing right now are going to be in a different vertical column. So right now, basically, the way that the Braun team, what Mike wants to do is he's basically creating a cabinet, I think, of 9 people. They're all going to have their vertical columns of kind of their agencies that they oversee. And I'm one of those cabinet positions. And so we're going to move tourism and housing into a different vertical, I think under commerce. But I think it's actually a good move. It streamlines the process. I think the current administration doesn't have as streamlined of an efficient communication structure to the governor's ear. I think this will actually help agencies be able to communicate better to him. And so I like it. I think it's going to be good. But no, those specifically. Now, I think with housing, I believe by statute, the funding has to go through the lieutenant governor's office. So, I'll still have roles in that. And I'm sure I'm still going to be I'm still going to sit on the board of the tourism board. But I'll still have influence and input, but it won't fall maybe under the purview as richly as it has in the past of the LG. But again, I think it makes sense. So I'm not upset about that.
So when can I start the tours of Mars Hill and show everybody the great things we have in Mars Hill? I think that should be part of in Indiana.
Still.
Get Mopper on the phone. I want it now, like for Veruca.
Yeah.
I want a golden goose, and I want it now. So let's see. If anybody's, we got this beautiful panel and a bunch of people watching this evening. You got some questions? Put them out there for Micah. All these haters of Micah over the last 6-8 months or whatever. Let's see what you got.
Brad, what's on the text group? Nothing.
I don't look at that anymore.
He's busy being
Oh,
librarian.
you're not in your Micah Tate text group anymore?
Which one?
It's a
You were
He-Man
talking about
Micah
all
hater.
the haters, and I thought maybe you had a text group of people.
Oh no.
Okay,
No.
I've got something.
I'm very
Micah.
forward with like my opinion of Micah to Micah.
What?
He tells me he hates me to my face.
Yeah, which is, what? It's dialogue. It's opinion. It's good, and they both laugh about it. I think it's entertaining. So there you go. I
We're
like
really
it.
friends.
Every hero needs a villain, and every
I
villain needs a
do
hero.
it. I think Brad's cool. I like Brad.
Well,
Brad's
can I
great.
ask a question though about Joe Biden, because they were talking about how he's they were saying that the transition is almost too peaceful, and that Biden asking for unity now is like offensive because of he was called Hitler, or like that he called Trump Hitler, and so how dare Biden try to play unity now?
No, I don't think it's the fact that he's calling for unity. I think it's the fact that it shows that everything that Biden and the press were saying about Trump was just a lie. So calling him Hitler, calling him a fascist, calling him all these things, and now all of a sudden he wins, and he wins big, and now it's like, okay, we need to come together. If he was really Hitler, you would never welcome him into the White House, right? Like, if you really believe that, nor should you, right? Like, I mean, Hitler was an evil guy. Like, if he's really Hitler, you don't open up the red carpet and say, like, here you go. And so I think it just, what people are saying on the right are saying, wait a second, if he was that evil and terrible of a human being, and now all of a sudden, like, you're embracing him. Now, again, I'm glad Biden
So, like,
do it.
let's throw down. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, literally, I mean, like if he's Hitler, Brad, like again, and he's not, but if he really was Hitler, you should throw down, right? Like that was the whole point of World War II. I mean, Neville Chamberlain didn't throw down.
not every one of us said he's Hitler, and we all deal with hyperbole all the time. There was somebody that I saw on Twitter that said they were a hyperbolist. I didn't know what the hell that meant.
They're really good
that
at
was
math.
some bullshit. A hyperbolist.
They're good at math. It's trigonometry.
Like, it's a bullshitter.
But I think that there are things that you say during campaigns that you don't say when the campaign is over. And Biden has to call for unity. What's he going to say? Burn this mother down. Burn this mother down. I mean,
they sort of got themselves painted in a corner if somebody comes and riots at the Capitol.
I think Biden was very gleeful that Kamala lost.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that I've never seen so much energy and vigor come out of that old sack of dust. He was damn near grinning.
That was clone number 5.
Oh wow!
I think that they made him step aside. The media turned on him like a rabid dog, and they were like, "Well, okay, let her do it." And then he fell in line like all the other Democrats. And
wait, when you say the media turned on him, like the debate, like the American people turned on him. Like it wasn't.
No, wait a minute. The media
all saw what he looked like.
The media in June after that debate, the media turned on him. Everybody turned on him. But what was so amazing and interesting was that all these people knew that he wasn't all there. They knew that he was declining cognitively. They let him participate in this debate to show America what they already knew. And that's the other thing about Kamala. It's like, hey, did you realize that this guy wasn't as sharp as the day that you started your job? Was that concerning to you? She would have done better if she would have said, America, I'm in a middle-class family, and I think that the president is not as well as he had been before. And you know what I'm saying? She would have built more credibility if she could have been honest. But you know what? She was the puppet. And you know what? Puppets don't work unless they got somebody's hand. And so
that's a different thing.
So Brad, let me ask Brad a question here. Do you think there's any merit to Pelosi and Obama and some of the kind of oligarchs of the Democrat Party that said that they were going to, if Biden didn't step away, they would invoke the 25th Amendment? Do you think that? Because I heard reports that was what was thrown around to Biden to get him to step away. Do you think that's like any merit to that?
I mean, I don't personally, but that's because I was one of the people after that first debate that felt like sad almost that like he was put out there and just what it looked, what he appeared like. It was just tough and it's like, well, okay, something has to change. And it was like, how long from the election day? That this whole thing was still this whole past summer's been pretty
Brad, when you say
unprecedented.
To change, it's like if you went home and if Biden were your dad and if you hadn't seen him in a year, you'd be like, whoa, no, Dad.
You shouldn't run for president. So then what do you do with that?
Your job's like, Dad, we need to go to the hospital and see what's going on because something's not right. And oh, by the way, you need to quit your job and retire. Like if that were your dad, you would take him home. You would do more than take the keys. You would turn off the gas to the stove. I mean, you would do a lot of stuff, but the Democrats didn't do it, and the media turned on him, and they just hung him out to dry. To me, that's the saddest part right there.
One of the things that I go back to is in 2020 when he basically won the presidency from his basement. Do you think if he would have had a vigorous campaign in the start, we would have seen this problem?
Well, he couldn't. We all thought Trump was crazy for having a
he was in the bunker. He was in the bunker because he was getting a brow lift, hair plugs. He got his eyes fixed. I mean, okay, I've had some elective surgery, but I'm telling you, when you have this is not my nose. When you have elective surgery, the first thing you do is hide out. I mean, he was running a campaign with so much gauze wrapped around his head. He was swollen and oh my God, he's had so much work done. Come on, guys.
What do you think? See, I think this was Trump's three-peat. I think this is Trump's third victory. Because what do you think about that?
No, here we go.
18 million votes that disappeared there, Brad. Like, where'd they all go? What happened?
They're in the library.
I don't know. Like all I know now is that this election wasn't stolen. This
Okay.
was a safe.
I
one,
agree.
right?
I agree.
Yeah, because of course.
No, but
Think about Donald Trump. Think about how many jobs we've all had
across
professionally.
the board, best election ever.
no, you're right. I agree with that.
Think about the jobs that you've had and how many times you'd say, wow, man, if I could go back in time and do that job again, knowing what I know now. I mean, like, I've got a couple of jobs. I'd love to step back into them. Trump is probably like, oh, I got this president stuff. I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to do it with these people. I'm going to get all this stuff done in the first 2 years. I mean, like, I'm excited for Trump being able to pick up and hop right back into a job that he used to have. How many people don't want that?
Yeah,
There's
Brad.
so many jobs.
So, I mean, actually, Micah, you and Mike are in the same position that Trump and Vance are in. You got 2 years to, before the next. Actually, the 2 years you got some senators and some House there, but you actually have 4 years total. But you got to show some work done in 2 years or some stuff.
Oh, I've been saying that.
I compare it.
I think. Listen, I will say this: the Republicans have not done a good job in years past when they have had total control of the government. We saw that in 2017. I think the Indiana Republican supermajority has caused the Republicans to be a little too lazy and a little too just complacent. And so we've got. I've said we got about 2 years, and I think I was talking to a guy tonight, and he said, listen, we voted for Braun and Beckwith not because we were over the moon excited to do so. We did it because we didn't really have any other options. And we're this is kind of about it, right? Like if we don't see this as like, if we can't get anything done now, you're going to lose trust. I mean, you're going to lose the trust of the people, Republican Party, if you don't get something good done quick. And so we got to work hard in these next 2 years. And if people don't feel the effects of good governance in 2 years, both nationally and at a statewide perspective, then I think you're going to see massive swings back to the left. Or maybe libertarians. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they're.
Yeah, Lucy
will run for governor.
Yeah, she's going to get. Hey, don't don't even wish that.
Not it.
Not it.
Hey, Brad.
Slick Witty says, he just got librarian. He's happy for at least another month. Slick Witty says the GOP needs to help candidates in Indy.
I agree.
So that's one of the things. And then he also says that, hey, Hamilton County will be blue by the next election if we're not careful. But I don't know about that.
He's right on both counts. When you think about the diversity leadership series and finding competent and capable conservatives of color, that was a lot of C's right there. I just strung together. I think that it's a shame that they are not cultivating some of these candidates in some of these areas. It's actually a shame. It really, really is, because what you get that, most minorities are pretty conservative. You get people who are from those communities who want to see them improve and do better. That we're definitely missing the boat in Indianapolis.
One of my initiatives is going to be to get to faith leaders in particularly inner city environments and to just begin to cultivate those relationships to say, hey, listen, I'm not asking you to be Republican. I'm just asking you to vote and lead your congregations to vote biblical values, to vote conservative values, right? Like, and again, if it's on if you can prove to me and show me why the Democrat platform is going to be more of a benefit to you and your family, then great. But I will stand to reason that you can't do that. And so, like, help and then and offer an olive branch and offer a hand, because I just think we've given up on Indy. We've given up on Gary. We've given up on some of these places. And we've just kind of said, well, they're blue. They're always going to be blue. Well, I know by playing sports, the way to never win a game is to never play good offense. Right?
So Micah, concerned clergy here in Indianapolis, they came out against the Democrats. I think you being a pastor, they're pastors. I'm just trying to put two and two together here. I think, you need to make a phone call over there to that. And I did notice when I went to churches that they were one-sided, very one-sided on some things, and they didn't even care if the other side was in the church. They would just go on about their business, and some more than others. And I did notice that when I went to some churches that were talking about get out and vote, they didn't really talk about one side or the other, but certain churches talked about one side and basically instructed their people to vote that way.
And see, that's the thing, is that if you can get into some of these places, and if you have candidates of color on both sides, then we're not choosing based on party. We're choosing based on what aligns to what feels good to us. And that's the thing, when you can take race out of the picture and you really talk about values and progress and what's good for communities, then you can have a much richer conversation. And shame on whoever's in charge of in Indianapolis for not having candidates that are ready.
I had a really interesting and good conversation last night with a very high up Democrat leader in Indianapolis. And he was and it was actually a really nice conversation. We were at the Public Servants Prayer fundraiser. So Matt Barnes, who leads the prayer ministry he's the chaplain of the State House. And so it's an amazing ministry, and it's very nonpartisan. It's very bipartisan. And so we have a lot of different people from both sides there. Well, this guy was talking, and there was kind of a glimmer in his eye when he talked about the election results. And he's an older white man, and I was like, well, why do you say that? And he said, well, because I think my party, speaking of the Democrat Party, he said, I think we've gotten too far immersed in identity politics. We've walked away from common sense. And he said, for an old white guy like me, he said, I was being told there's no place for me anymore in the party. And so he actually saw the Trump victory in the red wave as almost a good thing to hopefully bring the Democrats back into some semblance of common sense land. And I actually think that'll be a good thing, because when you'll have a more competitive Democrat Party, which means a better Republican Party, right? And I want the Republican Party to be good. I don't want the Republican Party just to be in power because they're the best of worst options, right? Like I want it to be a good option. And so, but you need to have good competition. And so I thought that was really interesting. If I said his name, you all know you'd all know who it is. But that was a really interesting conversation that I had with him, and I loved it. It was a great conversation, and so we'll see. Can the Democrats come back to some semblance of common sense universe here in the next few years?
So, Mike, to your point about identity politics, I was at a wedding 10 days ago, and I'm sitting there, and this lady says to me, we were talking about the election, and she was just like, I wanted Kamala to win so bad. And I was just like, I understand. She said, you understand more than anyone what I mean.
What?
Did she wink?
And I took her hand, and I was holding her hand, and I said, well, the engine just really didn't prepare Kamala to be president of the United States. And we've all been in situations where
the engine? The engine,
correct. The Democratic engine did not prepare her to be president. And so
Elizabeth Warren. I thought you were talking about Elizabeth Warren.
We've all been in professional situations where they bring somebody in, and they're the next great thing. They get all the accolades, all the recognition, and when somebody is next. And she's like, but I just wanted her to win so bad. And I said, I'm going to hold your hand, and I'm going to rub your hand because I don't want you to lose consciousness. But I'm an elected Republican woman, and she, and I said, it's gonna be okay. That poor lady, she didn't talk. I ended up sitting at the same table with her. She didn't talk to me the rest of the night. But we do have to get beyond just assuming that because of your skin color that we want the same things or we vote it the same way. I felt so bad for her. But that goes back to what Slick Witty said before about Hamilton County, is that we are losing control of the county because of just it being one of the best places to live in the United States. Everybody wants to live here, and then everybody votes the way that they voted in the place that they just left. So they're slowly trying to turn Hamilton County into the place that they left, and there's a reason they left.
Yeah,
So.
and I'll say
Well,
too,
yeah,
I
those
think-
refugees from California, that were fleeing.
And Illinois.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no,
One of them,
Alvin.
Louis, Alvin Louis, is that the one you're
Very
talking about?
well.
I don't want to mention any names, but he's
so I'll also say too, I think it's because of we have weak Republican leadership in Hamilton County, and I don't see, and that may ruffle a few feathers, but who's being bold in Hamilton? Like, who are the bold leaders? Like, I feel like it's always, hey, we don't want to make waves, right? Like, anytime there's somebody has to stand up and say something that's bold or courageous, they're like, the mayors don't do it. I don't know too many. I mean, outside of Tiffany, you come on here and speak your mind pretty well. But like
Mario,
what?
So I'm planning my I'm planning my GOP meetings for the next year, and there are times when I have to bring Mario in. To your point, Micah, that because he's bold. I even texted you, I think, about December 3rd. But you need people who are bold and who can tell Republicans what they need to hear about. You need to be involved. You need to vote. You need to support candidates. You need to be involved in your communities. You need to do these things so that we can be successful. And some people, and 2025 is going to be a crazy year because no one's on the ballot. So we're going to do what we do, and we're going to get back to our utopian societies. And then in 26, it'll be time for school board, some Senate races, some House races. And then 26 is going to be crazy, but 25 is going to be this very benign year. And, apartment complexes are going to go up all over Hamilton County.
And then a lot of kumbaya and some s'mores and
but
all
then
that
in
good
26,
stuff.
when it's time to vote, people are going to be like, what the F just happened?
Yeah, it's going to be good. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Micah, I'll let you, tell us your last party.
Wait.
Do the benediction.
Hold on a second. Lucy, I wanted to know what you were going to say about Thomas Massey.
Oh, yeah.
And what the heck?
Yeah. So rumor is Thomas Massey is going to be tapped to be the Secretary of Agriculture, and he's going to have a number of advisors. And Joel Salatin actually put it on his personal blog that he had been asked to be one of the advisors to the new Secretary of Agriculture. Now, of course, with Thomas Massey being down in Kentucky and doing a great job, and ROP to his gorgeous wife, who unfortunately passed earlier this year, he would leave a vacancy in his current position if he goes to secretary. So that kind of creates a little bit of drama. But can you imagine, two of like just the OG, I mean, Thomas Massey lives a homesteading lifestyle, homeschooling his kids. Joel Salatin has written like 17 different books on how you can farm, how you can get back to the land. I mean, we could have a real movement where people would be in control of the availability and the quality of their own food. That alone would take this country and make it more secure if we could just get back to victory gardens. Can you imagine if they couldn't just shut down the trucks going in and out of the city, take away our energy or our oil, and people would still be able to eat?
We have a victory garden in Mars Hill.
That'd be amazing.
We have a victory garden in Mars Hill. We have one. It says victory garden up there. Hey, Brad, do you have any of those Joel books in there in your library? Lucy, you need to send him over some. So
I've got a lot of them. In fact, I'd be happy to gift some to the library if the budget is not there. But hey, Micah, if you need somebody that's homesteading and willing to do the Secretary of Agriculture thing, I'd be having chicken tractors and chicken coops in all of our suburban backyards.
Chicken in every pot.
Well, one of the things Joel Salatin said, to be very, very serious, is he said if only every third or sixth family, I mean, like not every family in a neighborhood, but if only a certain number of families in a neighborhood just had 6 chickens, that they would be able to eat the garbage because, chickens will eat anything.
I mean,
and
anything.
So all of your, extra produce and meat and leftovers and all those things would be eaten by chicken and converted into eggs and into protein for the community. So even if we were able to just lift a few of those restrictions, and while I've got my wish list, I was listening today to a real problem which is facing in housing, and that is that most of the houses being made nowadays are very different. In the 1970s, we were making houses that were 1,400 square feet or smaller. They were an entry-level home. People could afford to have a first home. Now everybody in their 25 to 35-year-old years are still living at home with their parents because they can't get into the market. And BlackRock has come along with Vanguard and State Street, and they've bought up 25% of the single family homes. And they're not going for the middle or the high. They're going for those entry level homes because they're training people to be renters for the rest of their life. And they're taking the opportunity for them to build that basic American dream of having enough equity in that first house to be able to move into the second house. And I
Correct.
see Tiffany saying yes because she's a realtor. She knows.
Yeah.
Micah,
See it
say
every day.
that.
When you can rent
I
some
will.
place, when you can rent an apartment that has granite countertops and stainless appliances and amenities, when you are renting shit you can't afford, you're
Yes.
never going to buy anything because you can't afford what you're renting. I mean, like, it is mind blowing. Like the rents in Fishers anywhere from $1,800 to $2,400 a month. And you know what? If you can't pay it, they'll get somebody else in there. I mean, like, these kids, I feel so bad for these
Where do
kids.
those people keep coming from, though? Like the
Where do they
people
come
that,
from? That
the
are what
people that they replace with
Cities
like-
that have higher cost of living. A lot
or
of places.
people who
Yeah,
want to
people
be
moving
places
down
that
here
have
from
better
Chicago.
schools, better
Mhm.
amenities.
Yep.
People who, like in Noblesville, they have the incentive for people who work remotely. People who work remotely, they've got great jobs. They want to live in wonderful places. They don't want to have to live in San Francisco. I mean, I did an open house on Saturday, and people flew to Indianapolis from Colorado, and they were going around to open houses because they had heard so much about Hamilton County online and in the news. Could you imagine getting on an airplane and going someplace where you know no one because you heard that it's a great place to live? They liked the conservative values. They liked that there was truly a middle class here. You know, it's like in that home,
described an elite or like an immigrant.
I met them at a home that was like $650,000 and it was affordable. You know,
Right.
like there are people like, you know, Indiana is an undervalued market. But it is utopia for some people. But Lucy, 100%, that first time home buyer, you cannot get into Fishers for less than $300,000.
So we should be talking about tiny homes and we should be talking about self-constructed homes here in Washington County, which is probably, if we're not the poorest county, we're like definitely in the bottom 3. And my daughter lived in a tiny home on our property and we were harassed by the local building inspector. His beef with it, he said, was that we hadn't built it because she bought it from somebody, 20
You
miles
buy
down
it
the
on
road.
Amazon.
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. But here's the crazy thing. After he had told us, sent us the letter that if you don't remove this home, this tiny home from the property, we're going to charge you $250 a day in fines. No joke, $250 a day. We got it moved the first week of April. They didn't even come by to check. They sent us another letter, with more enforcement language and threatening, but that wasn't the kicker. We got the property tax bill and they were charging us
For the house.
$35,000. Yeah, for a tiny home on wheels. But that's not the punchline. The punchline is when you broke down the property tax bill, $3,500 of the assessment was the crawl space. With a tiny house on
That's under the
wheels.
trailer, right? That's the crawl space.
Yeah. You can crawl under the trailer, so that makes it the crawl space.
Yeah, but Lucy, to your point about like housing and where we are, like, like Fishers, 6% is undeveloped. We really need to take on affordable housing at a county level. You got to look at places in these counties that are undeveloped, that are the next areas. And we have to be very, very mindful about what we do. We can talk about affordable housing in Carmel and we can talk about it in Fishers. But when you look at the land that's available, the only way you're going to get there is through density, and density is for rent. And when we talk about somebody wanting something that they own, it's not going to happen. It is a county problem. Also, like I think our school board was considering some type of career training school, some type of trade school in Fishers, for the HSC schools. You know what? It's a county problem. Let's look at some of these things at a county level. Some things, I mean, I hate to have to punt to the county council, but there are some things that are, the problem is so common and so vast that one city's not going to solve it.
Yep. Well, speaking of punting, we got to get off this show because we're not.
Why do we have to get off? What are we doing? But we're losing.
What are you doing?
It's 10. We're going to do conspiracy.
What you've got on your jacket and what? Now all of a sudden you're Fonzie and you're in charge.
Marshall Arts Center. You can always move to Mars Hill, although our houses are about that much too. Some of them.
The most charming thing about Hamilton County is that it's not affordable and it keeps the riffraff out. I lived there for 15 years, and I was the riffraff.
You are the riffraff. We knew that. It
Yeah.
worked.
That was
Bingo. It
I've
worked.
been in my house for 17 years, and I think when I first moved here, I think I was the first.
We know what you mean. It was like what was that
here
your
because
show from last week?
In 2005, in my Cheapy Morgan neighborhood, when we moved in, we had some wonderful families of all colors.
Yeah.
But Cheapy Morgan, more square feet, less money, if anybody remembers that. I remember going to look at building one new, and they're talking about, we do this and we do that and we do this standard. And I said, oh, you build the minimum house required by law.
Yep.
And the salesman just
Taylor
gave
Homes.
up.
There's some of them out there that'll do that. Okay, that's enough. We're going to let Micah go because we're not going to make him endure this tinfoil hat thing because I know he would anyway. But
he's elected now.
yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah,
Micah, good luck. If you need us, we're here.
Thank you,
So
guys.
we're going to hold you. So when's our
Good
first
luck.
day that we're coming to do the show?
If you need an escort or somebody who can speak the language for you as you travel, I got you.
Hey, I got it. When do you actually get a? Do you get a? I'm trying to think when that first. So our 200th show is probably going to be on January 7th. Is that going to be? Are you going to be in office on January 7th?
Inauguration
Nope.
is right after that weekend.
It's 13th. So I get sworn in on 13th. I'm just a normal guy, man, until the 13th. Just the average.
We have to have our 200th show without you then. So maybe we'll do a hodgepodge like we did one time, a long time ago. But anyway, hey, Micah, hey, thanks for coming on.
We could talk about high school diploma. We can talk about skincare.
Here we go. It's like you can talk about my mood again. Look, yeah, here we go. We're good. All right, Micah. Hey,
Brad.
thanks a lot for coming on. That's his tinfoil
A
hat.
whole stack of them, man.
Micah, you can tell us that Brad's on your transition team. It's okay. You can tell us.
Yeah,
he's on it.
Brad's my chief of staff.
Yeah.
He's a chief surgeon with that mask on.
I love it. Hey,
Micah.
hey, see you guys. All right.
See you.
Thank you. Bye, Micah.
All right, we got rid of him. Now we can have some fun. So get your tinfoil hats, Brad, your way at it. But first, we got to play this. This is for Lucy. All right. Oh, wait. Then we got to play this.
Hey, y'all, it's time for the conspiracy theory, so you better get your tinfoil hat out and let's see what's going on this week.
Yay, that was fun. That was fun.
Oh, he's got a mask on. I think we should let Brad go first. He's clearly prepared for this.
Yeah, he's got something going on there. What it's hopefully it's about Republicans taking over. Is that what you got, Brad?
No, I don't have I really don't have much. I'd say Buc-ee's is probably going to slowly take over the nation next.
Becky,
are we going to get one in Anderson? Is that what?
No. When I drove or I landed in Dallas, did all the JFK stuff, and then I drove up to Oklahoma City, and I stopped at a Buc-ee's. First time I've ever been there. They had a giant wall of beef jerky. It was great. I got 3 bags of Buc-ee chips for the drive, and it was it was great.
So you should have. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Banner.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, because Spiro's having a fit. Probably it's probably Banner. Hold on.
He's trying to protect you from yourself, John. I know Lisa's full time on this.
I know
she
it
needs a little
is
help.
A full-time job. So, Brad, I can't believe you went down and saw the JFK thing. And you don't have a conspiracy theory about JFK. So, after you've been there now, do you think that it's a conspiracy or not a conspiracy? No, Lucy, quiet, Lucy.
Kind of more so now. Like I didn't know that it like slants down like the road. The road really kind of does slant a lot, and I never. You don't know it. I feel like when you're watching like this Zapruder film, and so that was great. I also got John. I wanted to show you this. I got a Texas Bud Light.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's a marketing genius that nobody ever noticed, probably.
Yeah,
except you.
Texas edition Bud Light. So
what did you think about Texas? Was that why all your exes live?
Everything big down there?
Yes, I loved it. It was barbecue was awesome. I ate that for like days. Just left over. It was just Terry Black's. I had the brisket and the burnt ends and the pork ribs, and then I went to the Pecan Lodge and had the same thing but different sides. The mac and cheese was like I'm getting full.
Just talking about
it. Yeah.
Burnt food is carcinogenic. Just FYI.
So, well, you know, it's funny. Texas is big, but if you look at Alaska, Alaska's the biggest. It's gigantic. I mean,
Alaska doesn't have a motto they don't have a T-shirt that says.
It doesn't fit. It has to be a
Everything's
sweatshirt.
bigger in Alaska.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't even sound right. Well, you know, the big hat. You know, you got the big hat, no cattle type of sayings, and all that. And all my exes.
Yeah, no, mine was just that Buc-ee's is going to take over because I know people, or I've heard people that use Buc-ee's as the destination now.
Yeah, I know.
Which should silence any kind of argument we as a human society ever have about fuel consumption and how much it costs. Because who gives a shit? We're driving to a gas station for vacation.
It's not just a gas station.
It's not just a gas station.
It's not just a gas station. That's blasphemy.
Buc-ee's is everything.
It's like
it's a Cracker
one.
Barrel. It's a convenience store. It's a gas station.
It's
clothing.
Ribs.
So I walk every morning and I have a Buc-ee's sweatshirt. It is double XL. It's gray. It's got a great big Buc-ee in the middle of it. And it was $24.99. It was affordable.
A bargain. Yeah, I've been to one before.
They have this magic tube that sandwiches come out of. I was standing there, and this sandwich came. It just shot through this tube, and it was wait a minute. It was a chili cheese steak wrap sandwich, and I thought it was for somebody else, and I grabbed it really fast and I squirreled it away, and it was the most delicious sandwich ever. It was like beef and like onions and peppers and some cheese, and it was so good and so well seasoned that it did not need any condiments. This is what I'm talking about. When you can eat food that does not need condiments, it's a whole other level.
Sounds like a cult.
Yeah, it sounds like they need to be sponsoring us. That's for sure. Yeah, I do. They need to be sponsors. That's all. We're get on it.
At Buc-ee's, I got the shirt that I wore to the RNC opening night when they had like the big picnic thing. Ooh, tacky.
Was there a Buc-ee's up there?
No. I got it in Georgia.
Okay, because they're just mostly south, right?
It was a sequin shirt. It was red and white stripes with blue and white. It was blue with white stars on the sleeves, sequins. This shirt was tacky.
You need to be wearing it next week. We need to see it next week.
I wore it on the first day of the RNC, and you know what? There was another one, and then a couple days later, another one. It was the most appropriate. Yes, it was the most appropriate shirt ever. Buc-ee's has everything.
We want it next week. We want the start. We want we want all of it. If our cameras can hold it, we want it.
Have you been to a Buc-ee's, John?
Yeah, I've been once. I had a
Lucy.
I haven't been yet. But I've gotten all kinds of things my daughter brings back because she loves it. Why don't we do a destination show and go to Buc-ee's?
Where's the closest one? I don't know.
They're building one in Ohio. It's
right here, librarian. Where's the closest?
There are two in Kentucky.
I'd say, like, I thought they were building one in Ohio, though.
That's possible.
You need to go to Buc-ee's.
Well, I gotta get this show on the road because if we're going to the State House to do a live show, that's going to be out of the office. That'd be fun. Yeah, we'll have to make some fun out of that. We'll have to make an evening of that. We'll have to have some fun with that. So, Lucy, please have a conspiracy theory for me.
So my husband just fed me the conspiracy theory, which should also be a road trip for all of us. And that is for once and for all to determine whether the earth is flat or if it is round, if it is a globe. And we should go to the ice wall and take a selfie. Because when somebody brings up the flat earth, I'm like, don't really think so. I've seen some eclipses and I've seen our shadow cross the moon. So, they always like, oh, well, there's an ice wall. I'm like, well, why don't you go to it? Why don't you get a selfie? But somehow they never do. They say it's protected by the government. And I'm like,
so what is this ice wall thing you speak of?
This is what the flat earthers say is the reason that they can prove that we're a flat earth. And what's hilarious to me is people that do navigation, whether it's, pilots or, captains of boats, they obviously have to do their navigation around the idea that we're on a
On a
sphere, that we're
curvature.
on a globe.
Yeah.
Right. But these flat earthers, like, they put out a map in 2 dimensions and they're like, yeah, you just go around this way. And I'm like, where's the edge? Where are you going to fall off? And they're like, you won't fall off. There's an ice wall. And I'm like, have you ever gone to the ice wall to prove that it exists? And like, no, the government won't let you get there. I'm like, we can't even police Haitians coming over, that small border
What
and
was that? The Truman Show. That reminds me of the Truman Show with that John Kerry.
True Man Show. Did you see
Oh,
that?
okay.
He's the True Man Show.
Okay, yeah, it had Jim Carrey in that thing. Yeah, I remember that. And he swam to the edge or
There's
something.
Yeah,
He
there is
ran
some
into the
truth
ice
in that.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a pretty interesting one. My conspiracy theory is that we are going to have anarchy in 6 months. Now, Lucy, I know you want to hear that. That's what you're. I just going to say there's going to be too much, too fast, and people are going to
Hey,
freak out.
you know what? Anarchy just simply means without rulers. So my whole
That's
thing
what I'm
is
saying.
if somebody assassinates Trump, don't replace him. Just let the office go away.
Oh, wow, that's something.
How's that going to impact my 401k? So,
Well, actually, the Department
if
of Labor.
Kamala was president, you'd be getting taxed on your gains.
Capital gains. On
You're unrealized.
Let's put it this way, Brad. It'd be a 201k. That's all I'm saying.
Good. All right.
Well, with Kamala, it would have been a 101k.
101.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can talk about
as long
that
as we can
afterwards.
imagine about how much horrible
Things would have happened.
been
Just
off.
like
yeah,
I don't
all
know.
in our
I don't.
imagination.
I've lived through a lot of. I've lived through the most presidents that you have. I was actually alive when JFK was still alive, so that's how old I am. I'm old. I was only 2 when he got shot, but I don't remember none of it. But I do remember when the Bobby Kennedy got shot. I remember that, and the Martin Luther King. It's terrible, and the Malcolm
Martin
X.
Luther King getting shot?
Yeah, I was like 7, 8. Yeah, I mean, we were going. I was first grader, so maybe second grade. I don't know.
What did your mom say?
My mom and dad, they never were. We had some people in my neighborhood that were stone cold racists. I mean, stone cold racists. But my parents, I never heard a racial comment out of either one of their mouths ever. Now, my mom would drop an F-bomb. I'll tell you, she'd do that, but not ever a comment. Never.
That's why I call you John Luther King.
Yeah, it is funny. I was at the KG board tonight, and I was the only white person on the board, and I heard this voice that sounded like Alan Henderson from IU basketball fame, and sure was. It's his. He's on the board with me, and I'm like, oh wow, that's cool.
John, I think that we hadn't really talked about like your election, but you care about the community a lot, and you showed up to events, and you should just be really proud of the relationships that you made, the hard work that you did. You should just be really, really proud. You did not get outworked.
No, I did not. And one of the things I wanted to have up, but I didn't get it in time. That's why we almost, basically, folks, the show came on the air at 8:59, but I was trying to get together. So we got our numbers in. The election was finalized. So I should have brought this up when Micah was on the show, but in District 7, I beat the Micah Braun team by 4,610 votes. And
those are brown people?
Yeah, and the Braun people. And then I beat Trump by 2,053 and Rakita by 1,720. So
wow,
that's, and I think I had probably one of the toughest opponents out of the deal. So, but you think about it, 4,600 people. I mean, that's a lot of people to switch, to not vote for another Republican, but they voted for me. So, and I know that we had some people.
But that just really shows that like you put in the time, you put in the work. I mean, but in a lot of those precincts, if you can take color out of the equation, and you've got candidates that are the same, and we're just really talking about issues, it will make it easier for people to decide who they want to vote for, because no one's going to vote against their best interest. So exactly. I just think that we just have to cultivate just a new generation of leaders down there.
Well, my thing is like, it's not conservative, it's not liberal, it's not left, it's not right, it's not. We're people trying to get this done, and we need the best way forward. And we're stuck in this identity politics. And I saw so many people go in and they didn't even know who was down ballot. They're just going to go vote against Trump or for this or against that person. It really wasn't
like that. I mean, you know,
the best
happens both ways. Like it's just
yes, it does. It does. So we're standing in line,
Right.
and we're talking about like school board candidates. And this lady gives this lady a card, and she says, "Well, does this candidate support book banning?" She's like, "No, she doesn't support book banning." And I'm standing there, and I'm like rolling my eyes. And then she said, because I can't support anybody who's trying to rewrite history. And I said, well, what are your opinions on renaming all the military bases in the United States that are named for Civil War and Revolutionary War, you know, like generals and military heroes? What are your thoughts on that? Oh, I don't know anything about that. I can't speak about anything I don't know. It's like,
but they got the one fact.
like,
So
we're not going to talk about rewriting history, but okay.
here's my fun story. So I'm standing in line and the lady asked me if I'm Republican or Democrat. I couldn't even get Republican out of my mouth. And she starts going off about, oh, you want to steal my body autonomy. You hate women. Just yelling at me. So she goes in and I really didn't get a word. She didn't even want to hear my opinion on what my thought was. I never even got that out. She comes out and she's still irate. She had her blue shoes on. So I figured she was doing her assignment.
Was she of reproductive age?
I don't know. That would be a tough guess.
But this is the thing about, and I was talking to somebody tonight about reproductive rights and women's health. Number one, you know, like, okay, there are your reproductive years, and then there are the years where you're outside of that. Let's talk about, and Lucy, you'll know about this. Mammograms are good, but ultrasounds are better. Do you know you only get an ultrasound? Yeah, you know, you get an ultrasound if a mammogram if it needs additional information. We should be doing ultrasounds first. A woman reaches a certain age. Do you know how often you get a pap smear? Every 5 years. So we're going to give you 5 years of opportunity for cancer to grow, and then we're going to try to catch it in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? It's like people need to understand, if you want to talk about like women's health and reproductive rights, it doesn't end when you're beyond childbearing. So a lot of people are lost in the forest looking for change.
I would like to hijack your mammogram comment and really alert women to the danger of mammograms from two perspectives. One, getting your boob smashed. If you have a tumor in there and it ruptures, you've now metastasized. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're getting radiation in your boobs. And so if you get enough radiation, you will end up with breast cancer. And so the whole idea of a mammogram, in my opinion, is to create work. Create profits for the doctors. They buy these expensive machines, they've got to use them, right?
Yep.
And then of course the tragedy is also when you have doctors like what was his name? Faraday. He was up in Michigan. He only got caught because he was doing Medicaid and Medicare fraud, and a nurse was a whistleblower and turned him in. And fully 2/3 of his patients, he had diagnosed with cancer, and they didn't have cancer because it's so profitable.
I thought he was doing his own mammogram screening. That would be a
but
problem.
women have to be really careful because the marketing that's put at us in order to go get our mammograms about it's our responsibility and self-care and we're taking care of ourselves. I was horrified when on social media, one of my very best friends, she should know better. She knows me. She posted this wonderful swag bag that they had given her. And, oh, look how, I've got all this stuff. And she was like parading all this stuff. I'm like, honey, the reason that they give that to you is because it's like a loss leader. I mean, it's so insanely profitable that they're bribing you to come in. And then, other women see that and they're like, oh, I'm going to get my mammogram there because of this. I'm going to get this swag bag. And the fact is, if they get you 4 or 5 times, you're going to end up with breast cancer. So instead, do thermography, and thermography will actually detect cancers faster and earlier than mammograms anyway. And then if you do get cancer, go get yourself some RSO, Rick Simpson oil, if you really want to live and you want it to go away.
Well, we just got all sorts of tips here.
Here's my second,
women's
third,
healthcare.
fourth, and fifth conspiracies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't let me finish my story. You didn't let me finish the story.
Okay, sorry. Finish your story.
That's okay. That was a good segue because I didn't get to say all that you just said. I didn't get to say any of that to this lady. She was still ranting and raving. She comes out. She goes, and by the way, I'm taking law school right now, and I'm going to pass the bar, and then I'm coming after your ball sack. I kid you. I can't make it up. Yeah. And then a bunch of other stuff.
Well, John, you won't be in reproductive age at that point, so
I don't think I mean, right? Yeah, I don't even think that. No, I would be like biblically Moses and Sarah. Is that the ones that had the Abraham and Sarah? That's it.
Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah. Well, it's like all that. Yeah, that would be where the place where I'm at this day and time. So, not maybe we'd have a baby Moses, or no, we didn't have a baby Moses. It was Jacob or somebody, wasn't it? Isaac. That's it. I got it. Don't check me on. I'm glad Mike is not on here. He would be just like shaking his head. It's terrible. So, all right, kids, we've had another good show.
Brad,
Next week.
why do you still have the mask on?
Well, it's still conspiracy theory. Let's take the banner down, and we'll talk about real things like Curtis Hill coming on next week, and I got an invitation out to Dana Black. That'd be fun. We'll just roll 5 people on here if that happens. But we're going to talk about sexual harassment. How's that? That sounds like a topic that we need to cover, right? I think.
So wait, but can we do like a quick yes no? Should Matt Gates' ethics report be released?
Oh, I think release it. I think that's
of course.
It's like, come on, this is the mouthwash.
Okay, this is why I love you guys. Like,
it's just like, we will go after anybody. It doesn't matter. So, we've had people lose elections because of this show, and we've had them win it. So I think we're
Brad,
doing better.
Does that surprise you that we would say that?
That makes me happy. Like,
really? Oh,
I was just surprised.
Not surprising. It's just
all of them.
It's always like nice when we're on the same. It's nice when we're all on the same page.
Well, that's why we're trying to brainwash you.
The indoctrination is almost.
We need to have a brainwash segment on here. I wonder who we can get to do that.
I've been working on my subconscious. Brad, why the jacket though? Like, is it because you're the director now?
Yeah, well, I mean, ever since I think I wore it once, and then you called it out, and so I can't not wear it because really, like that'll just draw too much attention.
Show us the Budweiser pull tab again. That was the highlight of the show. I think really, it's like, yeah, look at that. That's a Texas. Yeah, we need an Indiana one. Don't show Lisa. She'll do that. So, all right, everybody. Let's see what we got here. Let's check the comments real quick. Yep, they're later all.
Lisa wants to be on the show if we talk about sexual harassment.
Oh boy.
I haven't been sexually harassed in a while.
Maybe we should have an all-female cast on here. Maybe it's time for you guys.
I'm fine being off next week.
We should invite Haas. He was a victim.
Oh yeah, that's right. We could have. Is anybody else victims of this thing? I don't
Brad,
know if
I've been sexually harassed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I have a cure for sexual harassment. When I was younger and sexually harassed at jobs, I would just have my husband show up to take me out to dinner, and suddenly they were no longer interested.
Yeah,
I guess they feared for their lives.
Did he show up in the war paint?
No, but I'll tell you now. This is okay. I'm gonna tell one last funny story. It'll take just a minute. So I'm 19. I'm pregnant, but I'm not showing yet, and I'm managing a fitness center. I was like really fit when I was younger, and we had this one guy that always kept coming to check my paperwork.
I used to teach her.
So yeah. So he comes to check my paperwork, and I'm just like, I'm frustrated. This guy he's a white guy with a jerry curl and a big gold nugget ring that says spa on his pinky. He was a real winner.
Did he have a gold tooth?
Ooh, I wish I had my pearl.
No gold tooth, but he definitely had a gold chain. He was a real winner. So
did he have hairy chest too?
Did he drive a Fiero?
Was he like Magnum PI? Was there like some hair there?
No, I never noticed that far. I was pretty oblivious. So we were over on the east side, on East Washington Street.
You had me at white man with a jerry curl.
Oh my God, he was a case. And so I called my husband, and he was working on a fire restoration. So he would come home, he's got his do-rag on, he's covered in soot and everything from working. And so I'm like, do not take a shower, come straight here and take me to work, or take me out to dinner. I'm at work. So he comes in, and we've got this elevated platform with the desk and everything for reception. And he's like, I'm here to see Lucy. And the guy's like, well, who are you? And he's like, I'm her husband. That's what Dorn said. So the guy comes around the reception desk, steps down, and he's like 5'4", and Dorn is 6'2". So it's like he steps down, and he's got his cowboy boots, with the big heels, trying to
be big man on campus. Yeah,
yeah.
Hey, Dorn, did Dorn still have that crazy look too?
Yeah, that's never gone away.
So,
that's
I mean,
like
aside from the do-rag,
OME.
stuff like that.
Just like
That's-
Todd the Marine. I'm a Marine, Todd. You know, he's like 5'4". It was the same thing. The guy just stepped down, and it was like
whoop.
instant
I like
loss
how
of
you I like how you
status.
threw that in there, Lucy.
Boop, boop, boop. All right. Well, we will have people on next week. It'll be a good show, and go check out.
I'm traveling next week. I'll have to do it from Michaela's backyard.
Oh, you got plenty of
nice.
bandwidth or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but okay, everybody, let me see here. I got an ending. Yeah, we got an ending. It's all good. Hey, thanks for doing it, guys. We had
my
actually, this is funny. We have actually the highest viewership now on conspiracy theory. So I bet it's the Democrats watching the show right now to see what they can get on us. I'm just saying.
I have my
So,
button on. Brad,
look
do you
at
like
you.
it?
Oh wow, you know.
Look at Sparkles.
Well,
I
she
thought it
said
would-
you're
I thought it would
Texas.
say USA. You know, I miss those days where we were patriotic about the country and not a
It's
person.
got a flag right there.
Well,
Yeah, I was reading about Trump's, different bankruptcies and how he used to call himself the king of debt. And what better place to put him than in the inflation that we've got running now? I mean, the debt's going to run even higher. He's right in his element.
Yeah, but don't worry,
And
they
I'm not
got
hate-
the
you
they
know.
got the Ramaswamy and the Musk in charge of cutting stuff out. That's the other, two guys with a gazillion dollars.
And that's Doge,
Dave.
right?
Yeah, it's
Department
Doge,
of Government
Department of.
Efficiency, like the
It's
Doge
like,
coin.
and this dude, he is like every other tweet I get is from him on Twitter. It's like, oh, by the way, we are live streaming on Twitter, so maybe some of those. Now we're up to 31 viewers. If we just keep
Silence.
staying on,
Yeah, mute him on
Sometimes
Twitter.
the
though.
conversation we have is better than the show.
sometimes, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
We need to have a Patreon level where people can hear what we really talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, on
like
the after show, yeah, because it'll be
Yeah.
a good one
Those
tonight.
numbers
Hey,
aren't
y'all.
red. The
Yeah.
real show starts then.
All right, we're
Yeah.
going so we can get to the backstage and really talk. So everybody, we'll see you next week, 9:00. Curtis Hill, all that good stuff. Over and out.
Baby Doug. Bye.